Good morning, dear partners. Happy to see you here today. My name is Tatsiana. I'm Wialon Hosting business analyst, and my colleague Pavel will help me today. He's Gurtam, most experienced quality assurance specialist and the best bug killer according to previous year results. Last but not least, he's a top dancer, and you'll see it for yourself tomorrow in the party in the evening. So, within the next 20 minutes, we will share with you our one-year work results, some interesting statistics and analytics, problems we have faced this year and the solutions of these problems, and plans and directions for Vlan development for the next year. So, common results. It's well known that one of most important metrics for any product is the user's growth. As a company works in telematics sphere, we have one more significant metric, that is number of monitored units growth. So, this year, the number of units increased by 40%. And this is all thanks to your effort. And the number of units increased by 45%. This means that people involved in working in Wialon on a daily basis is growing. And the quality of service provision is growing too. Gurtam community becomes more and more powerful and influential. And now, of course, we couldn't dismiss such our advantage as the number of supported hardware. This year, we have integrated 200 new hardware types by 37 manufacturers. And these new devices brought us 30,000 new connected units. So this is the end of brief Vlan metrics. And now I want to ask my colleague Pavel to continue. Are you ready?
Yeah, I think I am ready.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Let us start with some statistics and analytics of platform usage. The first thing I am going to talk about is the usage of Wialon SDK. Please raise your hands who has already tried to develop using Wialon SDK. Whoa, that is awesome. Okay, who is only about to do that? Whoa. Okay, so please remember each other, because the former can help the latter with their experience during the days of the conference. And this is a unique chance. Don't miss it. Okay, let's go to our numbers. So as we can see, Wialon resources and mobile clients 70%, SDK 30%. So each third session is carried out by Wialon SDK.
And what do you mean by SDK session?
By SDK session, I mean any session that is performed through our app or your application, and all authorization that made up by third-party scripts. Okay, now let's talk about the most popular and fastest growing Wialon functionalities. The first one on this list will obviously be fuel monitoring. Last year, 23% of all sensors were fuel sensors. At the moment, the number of fuel sensors growth corresponds to the overall growth in the number of units. So fuel sensors percentage hasn't changed much since last year. Eco-driving, in its turn, as you can see, gained more popularity. The number of units using eco-driving settings has grown from 9 to 16%, which is almost twofold increase in absolute values. At least 1/3 of our partners have already used it. Tatsiana, what do you think of these statistics?
Fuel control remains holding its position. At the same time, more intellectual control as eco-driving becoming one of the most important and required functions in the system, I think.
Okay, that's great. Now, let's talk about the usage of Wialon by platforms. Despite the fact that Wialon was initially developed as a web interface for desktops, now our users are actively using the mobile version of our system. So here is the statistics that will surprise you not less than it surprised us. So as you can see, approximately half of all entries are carried out on mobile devices, both Android and iOS. SDK and Wialon sites takes about a quarter each. Those stats are amazing, don't you think so?
Sure, and this information definitely helps us in further development. Don't miss the presentation of our mobile team. They also have something to surprise you. And now let's move on to another basic Wialon function.
Yeah, and if you talk about some basic Wialon functions, the first thing that comes to our mind is the possibility to build reports. This is one of our most popular tools. You can hardly underestimate their flexibility and functionality. However, our analytics says that 56% of all executed reports are use one current day interval. Another 34% use one last week interval. So only one report out of 10 use the interval more than one last week. So this gives us a different look at the current situation. In future, we plan on develop such mechanisms that would allow you to receive the information without the need to build reports or to improve their performance. Another statistics on reports says that 92% of all executed reports use only 20 tables out of almost 150. I hope you know the guys who use the rest 100, yeah? Yeah, I hope. So, based on the above, we did our best to focus more on Wialon's maintenance and optimization rather than new features development. The correlation of the time spent on these two aspects is 57 to 43% of the total working time, because smooth Wialon operating is far more important than 20 more new tables. Okay, the next major topic that we are going to talk about is problems and solutions. So, a lot of problems that we face are almost invisible to you. So, let's make them more visible. I will highlight some of them and the ways we've been solving them throughout the year. What I'm talking about? Problems with the main internet providers, some geopolitical moments. For example, filtering transcontinental UDP traffic in USA direction, or temporary inoperability of certain areas. How we solve this issue? By launching new data center in Washington, D.C. Yes, now Wialon is mainly located in the Netherlands. According to the analysis that we regularly undertake, it's one of the best places for relocating our resources. As you know, we actively develop on both American continents. We have offices in the US and Argentina. So walking through Atlantic Ocean is not as smooth as we would like it to be. Therefore, we decided to launch another data center in the USA, Washington, D.C. Already this quarter, we are going to start letting users in. Also, we did the same already in Russia. 1 year ago, we have successfully launched the data center there. Okay, let's go to the next problem. And it is the impact of one users on others during the peak load periods due to the growth of units. Network equipment and communication gateways experience a significant load due to the growth of units because of using one IP address for their hardware. How we solve this? We updated and modernized the equipment. So now our servers are loaded no more than 35%, even during the peak load periods. On top of that, we launched another set of servers in the Netherlands. All new clients are being located there. The current set remains to provide the growth of current partners. They will get a separate IP address to establish the equipment. And the last, but not least, I hope, problem is lengthy updates and first-time initialization of the service. How we solve this? We put into operation already initialized and updated servers, so users continue to work with the old version up to 12 hours or 10 minutes after leaving the session. Thus, you just do not notice any sudden resetting of authorization during your work. Also, recently we've updated the servers where our core database is located. We did this once a year, but this resulted in a 20 minutes delay in the performance of the half of the functionality. And we were not satisfied with this long start. Our rule is, if we can improve the situation, we do it. So we slightly reworked the software part and replaced the equipment with a significantly more powerful one, but also more expensive one. So now the update takes about 3 minutes. Yes, we did this all in the sake of winning 15 minutes of our service per year.
To support the previous speaker, I'd like to add that we try not to solve problems symptomatically, but to discover the roots of these problems. So, hope every of you got some information to think about after the conference. And now, let's move on. I'll share with you our plans for the next year. First is current functional improvement. At the moment, the enhancement and speeding up of the system's functions and mechanisms is our priority. We want the system to work as stable as possible and be as accessible as possible. This year, 25% of all requests we got from you on forum, or you send us by email, or let us know during in-person meetings, were added as Wialon new functionality. Unfortunately, not all of these features were useful for most users. So this year, this percentage will change. We will focus on the current functions, and as we know that some basic functions fail to satisfy our users completely. Judging from the statistics we have, there are a lot of things to revise in the system before adding new features. Next plan is new data centers. Pavel has already explained the reasons and told that we're finishing up the data center in the United States. Next in line probably will be data center in the Middle East. And Flask Integration. You know that one of our development teams, led by Alexey Shurko, builds an innovative telematic backend. This product is quite new in the market, and until now, Wialon Hosting users had basically nothing to do with flespi in Wialon. But we consider the ways how we can use flespi to improve Wialon efficiency. So in this regard, let me remind you some key flespi features. Subsystem of data storage. It's a low-level development that means to be closer to hardware. It stores telemetry info from devices in appropriate way for further use. Next is telematic hub. It serves to connect trackers from multiple manufacturers to fleet management, IoT, or business intelligence platform. Any data that gets to the platform transforms into the unified JSON format and then can be forwarded to any third-party platform. And Universal Device Configurator allows to configure and diagnose problems with trackers from multiple manufacturers in a single interface, just in a few clicks. Integration with flespi will allow our users to extend store period of raw data or media files, or even ready reports. And don't forget the Universal Device Configurator as a nice bonus. If you meet anyone from flespi team here, they'll be happy to tell you more about this product. And how this integration will look like. First of all, we will add an option to bind Wialon and flespi accounts, and then users will be able to save, for example, video files in flespi storage. And as you see, our plans are not world-shaking, but yet significant. Our aim is to make your work with Wialon more effective and to provide the basis for your business growth. Hope to see you all next year to share our today's plans for realizations.
And at the end, I want to say thank you for using our system. The results we are talking about today is our common results, and we achieved them only due to our effective cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. And now time has come for questions. Please raise your hands because I see that we have no questions at all in WhatsApp chat. It's like seems to be dead. So please raise your hands and ask the questions by yourself. No questions for the development, so that's why we prepared some frequently asked questions for the hosting team. And one frequently asked question is, how do you transfer the units to another data center? Will it be automatic or shall we suffer from it?
If you want to transfer to a new data center, you should left a request to our managers, and then we automatically transfer it to another data center. So just left the request.
Okay, and where shall we know more about all this hosting stuff? Maybe today you want to tell something about hosting, or tomorrow?
In-person meetings? Yeah, sure, I can tell many interesting
maybe something
things.
From 3 p.m. something is coming, like workshops maybe, where you want to...
I have tomorrow 2 workshops. It's coding maps and video service. We'll be happy to see some of you, maybe not all, because we should share.
Okay, here's the question. Just wait for the microphone.
Is there any plan to put a data center in Asia?
Is there any plans to put a data center in Asia?
Maybe not yet. But Middle East is our next in line, and then we will see how it will work, how our service provision will be there, and maybe in future, but not on the nearest plan.
Here's another question.
What about in Africa? Data center, Africa?
African data center, what do you think about it?
I think the same. We just share the nearest plan, and then we'll see. Next year, come here next year. We will speak about our data center in the Middle East, and maybe next in plan will be data center in Africa.
Okay, if you have any... Okay, another question from there.
Yes, I'm asking, currently you said certain providers will be directed to the Netherlands data center or to the Moscow, and now you have a new one in DC. So what happens when that particular data center goes down? What is the redundancy thing? Is it not more efficient to have it on a cloud? So if Netherlands goes down, we automatically are directed to Moscow?
Did I understand you correctly? The question is about how the fall of one data center affects other data centers. How it affects the persons when a new data center, for example, falls in Boston or in Moscow?
We've got a lot of servers on each data center, so the fail of the whole data center is not so possible, I think. So have you ever faced some failings of Netherlands data center for a long time? I think you haven't. So I think that data center will work by itself, and I think that in cases of the failing of the whole data center, we will think something up.
Yeah, guys, can I also interfere a bit? Regarding the data center, the one which is in the Netherlands, this is one of the best data centers you could possibly find in the world. it's ISO 27001 certified. And once we speak about the whole infrastructure Wialon hosting, maybe you guys will correct me. It's not like everything is situated just on one server. In fact, different elements of the system are distributed between different servers, and every server has a backup, and the backup has a backup. So basically, all your geofences lie on one server. So even if the server with the geofences is down, the whole system will not be down because it's spread across the whole infrastructure. So basically, we're having probably the best data center you could ever possibly find on this planet.
Okay, thank you very much for the addition. If you want to correct Olga, do it, but I won't recommend it. Still, okay.
Kirill, we have another question.
Yes, and we have questions from the chat, but still, thank you.
So can you explain a little bit about your fault-tolerant servers in the data center? Because it's a great selling point for us when we go out to the customers and say we are providing Wialon hosting. So if we can provide some kind of information on the architecture, the way data is protected, right? Fault-tolerant servers, failover servers. What if one city goes down? How does the data get transferred to other server in another city?
Yeah, now, as Olga already said, we have lots of servers and lots of backups. So if one server fails, you will be redirected to another. But for more details, you can ask our data center team. They will help you with all the necessary information. Or you can ask us personally in the hall.
Or if I understood you correctly, you need the doc or the brochure or something that will ensure the stability of our data centers for your clients. Yes. Okay, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Which are just installed on a PC and you can start tracking. But if we can talk about a data center, fault-tolerant strength, it really helps.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have no time left for the questions, and we still have 2 questions in our WhatsApp chat, and I'll refer them to the guys, and you'll get the answer today, I suppose. So thank you very much. Let's give the guys another round of applause right now. Thank you, guys.